Hello. Today we're going to be talking about order of operations. In math, it's really important to do things in the right order. Much like cooking, if you do something out of order, things just don't turn out right. So in math, we've set up an order of what we do things, and an easy acronym to remember these is PEMDAS. Or some people remember it as "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally." But what these stand for is the order of saying do parentheses first, exponents second, multiply and divide from left to right third, and then add and subtract from left to right. Knowing these four rules can make or break an algebra experience for you. So this is something I want you to practice and get very familiar with. Say we have a few problems. 4 minus 2 times 3. Now instead of going 4 and subtracting 2 from it right away, the order of operations has you go through each step. 1, are there parentheses? No, so we don't have to do it. 2, are there exponents? No, so we don't have to do that. 3, are there any multiply or divides? Yes, there are. So we're going to have to go 2 times 3 first. And 2 times 3 is 6. Now it's also real important in algebra to write the numbers when you do a multiplication, write it right below where you're working. It makes it a lot easier to follow. Now I'm not going to do anything with the subtraction, so what I'm going to do with the 4 and the minus is I'm just going to copy it right below there. So 4 minus 2 times 3 is the same thing as saying 4 minus 6. Then I can say, are there any more multiplier divides? Nope. In fact, there's just one subtraction sign left, and that's on our last layer. So 4 minus 6 is a negative 2. And so the answer to a 4 minus 2 times 3 is going to be minus 2. Now, if the problem's a little bit more involved and there's a few more operations, that's okay. Just go through your order. Number 1, are there any parentheses? No. Exponents? Nope. How about multiplier divides? Yes, there are. Now, notice there's 2 of them. There's a multiply and a divide. We have 4 times 6 and 6 divided by 8. Which one do we do first? Well, they're both kind of on the same layer, so we're going to do the one that comes left to right, just like we're reading a book. So 4 times 6 is 24. So we're going to write that right below 4 times 6, and then very important, copy everything else down. I didn't do anything with the 2 or the plus or the divide or the 8, so just copy that right down below there. Next, I have a plus and a divide. Well, I'm still on that third step of multiply and divide, so let's go 24 divided by 8 is 3. I haven't done anything with the 2 or the plus, so it's still there. So 2 plus 3 is my last operation to do, so 2 plus 3 is 5. So the answer to the original problem, 2 plus 4 times 6 divided by 8 is 5. Now looking over here at our third problem, this is read 8 times the quantity 3 plus 6. Now the parentheses are saying do that first. So number 1, do I have parentheses? Yes. Then work inside out. So 3 plus 6 is 9. So we'll write 9 below here. And since there's no other operations there, then we don't need the parentheses anymore. Obviously, since that 8 is right next to that 9, that stands for multiplication. So I'm just going to copy the 8 down and put a multiplication sign to remind me that that was multiplying. My last step here is 8 times 9, and that is 72. So my answer to 8 times the quantity of 3 plus 6 equals 72. Now, if they get more complex, we just keep on following the same pattern. 1, are there parentheses? Yes, there are. Work inside out. So the innermost parentheses is a 12 minus 8. 12 minus 8 is 4, so we're going to write that right below the parentheses. Now I don't need the parentheses anymore, but I'm going to copy everything else. That exponent of 2 is still there. The brackets are still there. The divided by 5 is still there. The minus is still there, the 6, and the brackets. So I'm making sure I get everything written down perfectly. Without writing every step down, it's super easy to miss just one thing. Next, I'm still on the parentheses level, but now I have 2 operations. I have a subtract, 6 minus 4, and I have an exponent, 4 raised to the 2 power. In parentheses, you want to make sure you come back to this order. So which do I do first, the subtract or the exponent? Well, the exponent's higher priority than subtracting, so we're going to do that next. So 4 squared is 16. So I'm going to write 16 below that and copy everything else just as it was. So the brackets, the 6, the subtract, the bracket, the divide by, and the 5. Now, looking at these brackets, and brackets are basically parentheses, 6 minus 16 is a minus 10. Now, because there's no other operations left in those brackets, I don't have to write those brackets anymore. All I got to copy down now is just that divide by and 5. So negative 10 divided by 5 is a negative 2. So the answer to this big problem is just a simple minus 2. This last problem here, 17 times a quantity of 2 plus 26, all divided by 4. When you see this long divide by bar, that acts as another hidden group of parentheses. And so that is like putting parentheses around the 17 parentheses 2 plus 26, the whole thing. So my very first thing is I want to work in the innermost sense of parentheses. So the very first thing I'm going to do is the 2 plus 26. 2 plus 26 is 28. So right below it, I'm going to replace it with, oops, let's make sure we get this in red, 28. Copy everything else as it is. Now I don't need parentheses anymore, but it was a times 17. The divide by and 4. Now remember, this divide by long bar is like having parentheses around both of those two. So that's what I'm going to do next. 17 times 28 believe it or not, is 476. Now I have this one big bar divided by 4. So the last operation left to do is going to be divide by 4, which equals 119. So the big thing you really want to remember with the order operations is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally or PEMDAS. In other words, do parentheses first, exponents second, all the multiply and divides third, and last do the add and subtracts. Remember, always going left from right, just like you would read a book. Thanks a lot. Good luck.